win Game of the Year.
You think so?
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I mean, I can see why you're thinking that because of the reviews and like people just loving Zelda so much, but I don't know.
Nintendo's going to have 2 games in the category of Game of the Year. They're going to have Mario, and they're going to have
Yeah.
And they're going to have Zelda, and then there's going to be Persona 5, well, I should say the Penis Demon, and then then there'll be I don't know if Horizon Zero Dawn or
I think Horizon will be in there,
and Hellblade I think will get in there as well.
I hope they get in there for indie, because that's what they definitely deserve.
Oh yeah, they'll win indie.
What, Ninja Theory?
Yeah.
Hellblade.
But for Hellblade, but I don't know. What about Cuphead though? I know Cuphead is considered an indie.
It's not an indie. It's a publisher. When you have a publisher, it's not an indie.
Okay.
Hold on. Who published Cuphead?
Microsoft.
Oh,
okay. So it's
when you have funding and you have a publisher, you're no longer considered an indie, regardless of what the budget of the game is. So so that's why like Ori and the Blind Forest is not an indie.
Yeah, dude, I've always been so skeptical of saying indie with Ori and the Blind Forest. But yo, Don, I just want to let you know you are dropping knowledge on the chat because we are in the pregame.
Man, aren't you so glad that you waited for me?
Oh, dude, you are wearing the pink chinchilla tonight. I'm saying.
No, dude, the show didn't start.
Got everybody in the chat. I will let you know. I do in the DM every week. I ask everybody, please be in the hangout by 6:45 p.m.
Listen here, I got lost in IKEA. Here's the deal. Like, I literally had to go to IKEA real quick. I'm like, I got an hour and a half. It's good to go to IKEA and back. No, not at IKEA.
You know the chair that's like a hand and it's red. He's like, I wonder if I could use this for my gaming chair right here.
You're like, how can I mount speakers onto this thing?
But Don, so what were you saying? If a game, no matter what the budget, if it has a publisher, it's not considered indie or independent?
Indie stands for independent. So, like, basically it doesn't have any outsourced income coming in to make the game. So, like, No Man's Sky, it's not an indie. It's got a publisher, right?
Right.
You take take Ori and the Blind Forest. It's not an indie. It's got a publisher. So it's a lower budget game. It's a side scroller, but it's not independent. So like Hellblade is a AAA style graphics, right? But there's no publisher for that. They're totally independent. That was under all their own money. So they get to pocket everything that goes on with that game, all that good stuff. So yeah, I mean that's a perfect example. You can't tell by the quality of the game anymore if it's independent or not. Or the budget.
They're just
but I'll be looking forward
harder.
Yeah, what I'll be looking forward to this year will be Driver of the Year, Best Racing Game of the Year, and Best Art Direction because Cuphead's going to be in that.
There's a racing game category. I thought it was like racing game in sport.
Well, that's right. It's going to be racing game in sport. So that's right.
Well, we all know GT Sport is going to get it for Best Hood Ornaments. I'm just saying.
if that's what's going to be interesting to me. They'll probably give it to a sports game. They might give it to NBA 2K or man.
You don't think they'll give it to Forza?
I don't know, man. They should. But I don't know though. I forgot that they put in that.
Because I mean that game looks graphically. That game is phenomenal. And
I know Life Forza until like what Thursday night. I finally stopped playing it since Thursday night.
Dude, I was playing it tonight.
And I want to go back into it and play it again, but I said no. Let me just play something else. So I played Tales of Vesperia.
It blows my mind. So like I decided to play around with the photo mode in Forza, and like it has real life photography stuff in it. Like you have to know what you're doing with photography to actually take a proper photo in that game. I think I posted a couple pics on Twitter on it. But it was like this Lancia I took, and I'm like, dude, it looks phenomenal when you actually know what you're doing on that sort of stuff. So
nice. So Don, are you trying to say that you have some photography experience as well?
You have to have that background when you're working computer graphics.
Damn, man. Yo, private investigator, freaking professional cliff jumper, and game developer. Dude, what don't you do, man?
Dude, I am working on being the Renaissance man in gaming. His indie game is actually called Grill Simulator. It's
Your achievement is every time you grill one of the world's finest meats, and of course.
Oh, and also animal teat milk sampler. So don't forget about that. Don't forget about that.
Would that be the achievement?
So you mean that
teat?
That game that you really like called 1-2 Switch?
That, you know what? Don was encouraging me to get it when I get my Switch. So he was like, "Hey man, get that game." And so
get that game where you can milk cows.
That's just saying.
I'm not getting that game. When I get the Switch is I'm only gonna probably buy 3 games. That's only like 3 games that I'm interested in. So no, I'll take that back 4.
I'm guessing Mario Kart's probably one of them.
Absolutely.
Odyssey.
Yes.
Zelda. And then I can't even think of the other one.
I don't think it's out yet. It's going to be a Xenoblade.
Xenoblade. Okay.
Yeah. The thing about the Switch is it's hot now. I mean, it's the world's most powerful handheld. You have the exclusives with Zelda, Mario Kart, and now Mario Odyssey. A lot of people are singing its praises and stuff. But what's coming out next year? You know what I'm saying? Like.
True. Yeah.
That's gonna be the test with it, man.
Metroid.
What's up?
No, but so speaking of games, I saw this game that was perfect for K Mega. It's called Mud Runner. It has Oklahoma written all over it.
What game was that again?
It's called Mud Runner.
Oh hell yeah! It should be called Dirt Dogging. Let's go! Oh man. Oh hell yeah! That is Oklahoma and all of that.
Dude, you got like semi trucks carrying logs, off roading. You have
now that's Wisconsin stuff carrying logs. We just mud dog. We in a big truck or I was younger. I had a '93 Amigo with some deep dish hammer rims on it. You know what I'm saying? And man, shit. We and the homeboys, we got in there. It was snowing and it was really muddy in this field, and so we hopped in our cars and just started doing some country boy stuff. I don't know what that was. That was stupid. That was like about 22. I wouldn't dare do that stuff again now. So
I thought he was gonna say it was like 22 years ago, and I was like, dang.
So yeah, no, but it was a while back. It was many moons ago, but still.
Well, Mega, So Shady in the chat, he agrees with you, man. He's like, yeah, spin the tires. It looks awesome.
Yeah. Oh man, it's Shady, man. Luca and the ladies they all jumped on me, man. They all jumped on me, and I was trying to defend Triple Cup, but Luca, when Triple Cup went left, then Luca went left, and then the whole podcast went.
So wait. So completely left. What did they double team you on?
They were just coming after me. Luca had some. I really forgot. You know what I'm saying? I was had a alcoholic beverage, a drink, and I kind of was relaxed. It was nowhere near. No. It wasn't nowhere no.
I'm still having nightmares from that.
I will never do that again. Never. I'll just say I'm out. Delilah, take over for me. I'm not. No way. But no, I was just. It was just fun, man. It was really fun. It wasn't like crazy, like people getting into it or nothing. It was just Triple Cup. I'll just give a brief little description. The first beginning of it was talking about the whole NeoGAF and then situation and those allegations of what happened with Naughty Dog and everything. And since I had so many females on the panel, I wanted to hear their thoughts about what was going on. So it was serious, great topic. Then they talked about the Terry Crews situation, getting groped by somebody because he was looking for get this acting job or whatever. And then so Triple Cup was like, I'm a man. I'd be damned if I get touched. No. And then all this stuff. And then so Luca went off and then was talking about men getting raped. And then it just went left after that. It just went left. And it just got funny. It was just a funny ass show.
That sounds worse than when I was on. Wait,
no. It wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't anywhere near that. no.
Don was there. He remembers that.
Yo, that has to say something. They get into the topic of man rape, but it's still not as far left field as when Dark Optimus was on the show.
Yeah.
Dude, and I wasn't even going left at all. I was trying to go right and try to make it more,
I think we're all trying to go right and actually finish under 3 hours.
Yeah, and Don was all like, "Another dude, no, we can't do another."
Oh man,
we're
done. I didn't even know what. I lost track of time. I was like, "Let's do another topic." We're having fun. They were like, "No,
we're not.
We gotta go, man."
Well, it was just like balance of like, let's wrap it up, and 4K makes it worse for himself. Like we were looking out for you, man. We were just like, we gotta call it quits.
Well, guys, since you're talking about time, it's about 1:15 right now. I don't know. Should I play the intro now, man?
Yeah, man. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right, here we go.
We got to.
What's going on, people, and welcome to another episode of the Next Podcast. It is a special episode because we're finally bringing somebody back on the panel. He took some time off, something about trying to build an igloo in Southern California, and I think he got to it. I think it's done. I don't know how he did it, but since I'm talking about him, let me introduce him first, and I am talking Dark Optimus!
First off, I want everybody to know that you cannot build an igloo in Southern California.
Dude,
it's very hard.
To tell you that, man. You didn't want to hear nothing.
I know, but you know me, dude. I don't want to hear anything. I just want to be able to do it. Okay? No, man. It's so good to be back on the podcast, man. It's been a while. I'm ready to get into these topics and ready to talk some games with you guys.
Nice. I know. Me and Dark, we're going to be talking about the whole Destiny 2 thing and how people are saying,
oh yeah, for sure,
active users are dropping off and stuff. And we actually started getting into the topic. I said, hey, Dark. Dark said hi back, and then we just started talking Destiny 2. So that might be interesting going back and forth between me and him because he's a veteran of Destiny. He went through Destiny 1. I'm the newbie. I'm the one who went in and played Destiny 2, got into Destiny 2. So we might have a difference of opinion here, guys. Mm-hmm. But let's see. Next on the list, coming live from the 405, my brother who isn't the diva this Saturday. He was not the last one to check in, but I am talking about K Mega.
What's up, everyone, man? It's glad to be back. I'm saying? Sorry that I missed it last week. Just had some situations that I had to take care of, and those are done, and now we're ready to get this show popping, man. Glad to be back with the family, man, just doing it, and tell Snaps to save me a plate at the table.
Nice. It was a really, really cool show. Last week we had Crap on, our BGST brother.
Right.
But not only that, we had a surprise, I guess you could say we had a surprise in the chat when Mikey Barra showed up and hung out with us and was talking with the chat, was talking with us through the chat, and we had a really good time, with the gaming topics and stuff last Saturday. I'm kind of
nice.
I wish you were there, man. I wish you were there.
I wish you was. Yeah,
I wish I was too, man. I heard about it. I saw that, and I was just like, damn, missed it.
Yeah.
The way Dark thinks. He's like, damn, when I'm not on, right? When I'm not on, man. But we do got to introduce this evening's diva. He is rocking the pink chinchilla, of course. It is time to stand up, show that respect, and kiss that ring, the Don.
I like how you got a little closer to the mic when you were doing mine. But just so you guys know, you're not late unless the second bell rings. And I was first bell rang, but not the second bell, so I'm solid. I'm glad to be here. Another week has gone by. it's it's not just about playing games. Sometimes it's about talking about them, and that's what we're gonna do today. So.
Yeah.
And also, don't forget that Don is holding a cup with his pinky out of Cambodian yak milk. We already know. Let's go.
We got the little umbrella in it and everything.
Yes. Yes.
You say that, but I do the same thing with my. I do the same thing with my Elite controller too. Like my pinky.
With the pinky out.
Is that what Project Pimp Cup is about? You drinking yak milk and having your pinky out?
No. That's all preparation. Preparation.
Those are going to be the achievements. Is when you drink the yak milk, or you have your pinky out. That's like 50 gamers score right there, man.
I want to learn the achievements to be always better with bacon, or something like that. Something involving bacon.
That'd be awesome. Like every just has bacon.
Boy, that is just delicious. Boy, bacon is so good.
Well, I do have a message to the chat, and for everybody who watches the show afterwards. I did get a DM from Predator. Unfortunately, I don't think his job are next podcast fans, because he's actually at work right now. He was supposed to be home and he maybe join in a little bit late, but it looks like he is going to be working through the show. So shout out to Predator, and let's boo his job, people. It's like, boo!
Oh no, dude, he's got to feed his family, man. Yeah, no. Yay, job. Like, no, don't worry about it. He's solid.
Yeah, he can't. If he wants that Xbox One X, he's going to need that job.
His job should pay him just for being on the show. I'm saying that's the way I feel.
Dude, my handwriting's awful. I can write him a doctor's note anytime he needs it, man. It's all good.
Wow.
Nice. And of course, O-Snaps is at work as well. I don't think she's going to be out until like 4 o'clock in the morning or whatnot, like a usual shift for the weekend. But she's out doing what she does, peddling them cookies. And yeah, so let's move on to the topics, guys. And I'm gonna go for a sad topic first. So, guys, I don't know. Can we please get a moment of silence for one of the greatest peripherals in console gaming history? Yes, I am talking about the Kinect. Moment of silence, guys. And there we go. Guys, if you don't know, what's up? What, Don?
No, I'm just gonna interrupt.
Such a diva, man. Just like, hey, you know what? I need to interrupt him right now.
Man, what's wrong with you today, Don?
Come on, Don. What's up, man?
I'm solid. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're taking my spot right now today. I don't know.
But yo, I gotta say, at least Mega, when you interrupt, you at least interrupt with full sentences and stuff like that. You don't go at, and then make everybody stutter and stop and everything. You just keep going.
Yeah, no, I'm coming at you. I'm like, I got something to say. I'm laser focused. Bow. This is it. I'm going to say it. Boom. I don't care. We can talk over each other. I'm still going to say it. But
Don's going to need some K-Mega training.
Yes, in the arts of interrupting.
Guys, let's be serious here. Microsoft Xbox, they just recently this past week stopped production on the Kinect. So for anybody who is a fan of the Kinect, anybody who has enjoyed their Kinect, going through the 360 days into the Xbox One, if you got the day one console, you had the Kinect in the box and all that stuff. If you were kind of like hoping that, more games would come out, developers would kind of recapture the essence of the Kinect, guys, it is a sad day. It's a sad day for me as well, because I use my Kinect today, even to start it up, to shut it down, all that good stuff. But I don't know. I was hoping that there would be kind of like a second life for this device. So, let's hit up K-Mega. Mega, how do you feel about the Kinect basically RIP in 2017, man? Did you see it coming? Do you think there was still life in it if they tried to, put some games behind it, man? What do you think about this, dude?
I'm sad because it it takes away something that got my family together, and it was I could just go back and not so much for the Kinect 2.0, but more so for the 360 Kinect. I mean, it was great to see the kids coming in there, they're playing Dance Central, or we was playing Fruit Ninja, Fantasia. The Kinect training. I mean, there was all different types of games that we were playing. I mean, the kids would play Wipeout. And of course, my favorite game, even though it wasn't a true Kinect game, but it still used the Kinect if you wanted to do, and that was the mighty Lips. Oh my God, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my God,
yes, Lips with life, and you know what I'm saying, and you could use that, and there's just so many other games, man. But man, I felt bad. Like there was a part of me that's looking at my Kinect right now. It's just like, I'm sorry, bro, because when the X comes, I'm gonna have to put you down. I'm gonna maybe see if I put it up to my PC or something and use it as a camera. But other than that, man, it just seemed like it was just a peripheral that's not really being used, and it's really unfortunate. But I understand why Microsoft had to do it.
Well, Mega, this peripheral, let's be honest here, man. They didn't even really scratch the surface with, you know, what it can do, kind of like evolving it out in terms of games and stuff like that. So why do you think the gaming community kind of like, you know, turned a nose up to this thing? Why were they so like anti-Kinect this generation, man?
There's only one entity that well, I mean, I'm pretty sure there was more people behind it, but there's just only one person that comes to mind that personally killed the Kinect, and that was Don Matrick. When that whole situation where Xbox was going and getting the teeth kicked in by the media, by YouTubers, everything in the beginning of 2013, Don Matrick set it off with the Kinect is coming with the Xbox One, and it, you know what I'm saying, and then the whole 720p gate came about, resolution gate or whatever, and the worst thing about it is that people looked at it as a spy machine. It was putting tape on the camera, and then when you found out about that, it was taking power away from the Xbox. It just doomed it right from the gate, and it didn't have an opportunity. So if the Kinect was bought separately, just like the first one was, I think it would thrive. But because it was forced upon customers who didn't want to pay for that, I mean, that extra $100 could have went in for extra games. You know what I'm saying? We might not be talking about Sunset Overdrive, you know, maybe having a sequel. It might would already be happening because people would have been having those type of games like Rise and all these other games come out, and people would have been buying them in abundance instead of worrying about the Kinect and just get the Kinect later. So Don Matrick was the killer of the Kinect, in my opinion.
You know, with the decision to put the Kinect into like the console's box, you know, bundle them all together, I could actually see where they were coming from when they did that, though, because when it comes to the 360 Kinect, you know, it broke records in terms of peripherals for a console, in terms of sales and stuff like that.
Over 24 million sold.
But one of the things was, even at that point in time, with that many sold, developers were like, well, you know, the entire consumer base doesn't have the Kinect, so why should I make a game for it? And I think that was one of the big reasons why they did bundle it together, was so this way the devs didn't have the excuse that not everybody who has an Xbox One has a Kinect. You see what I'm saying? So they put it all together, right, and they hope that the developers like utilized this piece of hardware, not just strictly for Kinect, but like what like Dead Rising 3 did in terms of using the Kinect. If you're too loud, the zombies are attracted to you. They start walking towards you and stuff like that. I think that's what they were hoping for. Unfortunately, it didn't really happen, man.
Right. It didn't, and that's another thing. And I understood with the TV features and everything. That was one of the things that got me excited about the Xbox One. But it's just that once it all came out, and when the lies of saying that it had to come with it, and now you see that it didn't, and the power drain, and people just, I mean, and then the $100 difference between the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One was the catalyst of just everything being bad. You know what I'm saying? So it just, I know what they were trying to do, but it all comes down to now when we can look back, and we was hearing the rumors that really they wanted to bring out the Xbox One in I think it was 2015. I think if they told the community out there about what their ideas were, I think people would have been a lot more understanding, but they just kind of shoved it down our throats, and now we're looking at it's dead. It's gone. And it's unfortunate.
I don't know. I'm going to have to put together a little thumbnail or something with a little gravestone and all that good stuff, man. I don't know. Even games like Zoo Tycoon, I actually absolutely loved what they did with the Kinect in that. But let's move down the panel. Our Ray of Sunshine over here. I know he's gonna have a lot of positive things to say about this piece of hardware. Dark Optimus, man, what do you think about the quote unquote death of the Kinect? Do you think this was a long time coming? Do you think that maybe they could have given it a second shot and gotten some developers to make, you know, some more new games and see if people were willing to possibly go back and buy it separately, man? What do you think?
Good riddance.
So like I said, Ray of Sunshine right there, guys.
Wow.
I just triggered the whole entire chat. Everybody's just like, God damn you. No, you know what? The Kinect on the 360 was a good device. You know, I actually had it. I played Kinect Sports. I actually really enjoyed that game. You know, and that was about it. You know, I didn't really play it for any of the other titles out there. And when they announced it for the X, I was like, I mean, not the X, but the One, I was all like, I'm not interested in having another Kinect. And I know it was 10 times better than the one on the 360, but I was just like, nah, I'll wait until they either decide to get rid of it or the Xbox One goes down in price, and they decided to get rid of it. And then they said, hey, let's, you know, make the price a little bit lower too. And so I picked up a One then. But I think, you know, it is kind of a sad moment, because I mean, it was one of those, you know, things of a generation that I'm sad to say that a lot of these people aren't going to see, you know, later on in the life of consoles. I think it's something that could have been utilized in a better way.
The evolution of that piece of hardware could have been absolutely incredible, man.
Right, especially, you know, right after the one Kinect, you know, the Kinect that came with the One. I think it could have been even better. You know, could have probably did some other things to it. You know, maybe would have been able to use VR with it and AR and things like that. I just don't see them ever trying to ever go back to trying to use the Kinect again, which is sad, you know, because I mean, it was something that could have been utilized for other things in the Xbox family.
Yeah, definitely. And yo, Dark, I gotta ask you the same way I asked Mega. Why do you think the gaming community just said no to this thing? Like it was kind of crazy, you know, going from the Kinect with the 360 being so popular and everything like that. You would figure if you were running Xbox, if there was over 24 million of those sold on last gen's hardware, it's like, damn, like when we put it in the box for this console, people are gonna go crazy. Why do you think people just kind of said hell no to this thing, like right off the bat, man?
Well, I think first off, I think they thought maybe it was like a government conspiracy kind of thing.
But most of these people that said that have an iPhone or
right. I know, man. I know, but people, you know, when they see something that's like a camera, that looks like a camera, they're like, oh, they're gonna be spying on me all the time, you know. And I think part of that had to do with that. I also think that the price tag of the Xbox One, you know, they're paying an extra $100 just to have that in there. I also think that it was also because of that they thought maybe it was going to be like the 360 one, where it didn't work sometimes, and sometimes it did work. But I think the one that they came out with, the One, is 10 times better, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's great.
Yeah, so I mean, it works great. It, you know, you can actually, you know, tell it to do things, and it'll actually, you know, listen to your commands. And I think that's kind of the reason why I think a lot of people were kind of put off by it.
I definitely the whole spy thing. I know that was a big thing. Talking to my son's mom and like her boyfriend was adamant that no Xbox One in the house because of that camera. And I'm like, but you guys, you have iPhones and stuff like that. I don't understand what you're talking about.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was one of the big things. I think it was just a whole bunch of negative all rolled into one. You know, you had Microsoft not talking clearly about their kind of like vision for the Xbox One. Here you have this new Kinect in there, and they said what it could do, like with games and stuff like that. But even their first party didn't really utilize it to that extent.
Well, I think they utilized it more for like Skype and like, you know, chatting with people, and they didn't really show off like what it's going to do with video games. Point. They kind of, you know, they did more of like TV and entertainment, what it's going to do there.
Back to TV, man.
Well, the one thing too that I think hurts the Kinect 2.0, it could have alleviated a lot of the problems at the beginning if they had the same type of on services like 1 versus 100, or where everybody could just get together and play, you know, multiple games together on the Kinect. They didn't really have any Kinect games to play.
Yeah,
that is true. Yeah.
So I mean that hurt it as well.
That's what I was saying.
Kinect Sports 2 or something like that.
Well, when they were promoting the new Kinect, they were showing like somebody playing a first-person shooter where they would bring their controller up and the guy would shield himself and stuff like that. They were showing all these things. They talked about, again, when it comes to a skateboarding game, if you actually have a skateboard, put it up to the Kinect, it'll scan it, and you'll have your skateboard in your video game. Like, stuff like that would have been awesome. Don't forget
Milo.
Oh, and Milo.
Yeah, the Peter Molyneux game, yeah. I mean, yeah.
But it never happened. They never had any games that would utilize those features. But we gotta talk to tonight's diva. So the Don, being a developer, I want to know, how do you feel about this hardware kind of getting dropped off on the side of the highway? You know what I'm saying? It's almost, I guess they want us to forget about it, man. What do you think?
Well, this one's actually kind of a sore subject for me, because one of the first games that I was working on was going to be published was a Kinect game. And it got canceled. So if anyone that follows me on Twitter, and you look at the picture I have for my Twitter icon, it's a Viking character.
Yeah.
That actually was supposed to be a Kinect game, very similar to like Infinity Blade, but with a Kinect. Nice. And you know, they're working on the funding. Everything was kind of in place. They wanted me to come with this character in this world, and you know, basically get this pitch together. So I got the pitch together. Didn't sign any contracts or anything like that yet, but you know, we got the pitch together. They're like, okay, we're gonna greenlight it. We're gonna do up all the paperwork, and then you know how quickly the Kinect got dropped between launch and, you know, when it actually came out.
Yeah.
You know, between E3 and when the console launched.
Yeah.
This game happened in that window, and it got canned because of it. So part of me just, you know, every time someone brings up the Kinect, I'm like, you know what I mean?
It's just that bad piece of history, man.
Yeah, like, you know, it would have been a cool mark. You know, it was the right people that I had. You know, it was just like the perfect storm of everything. And it was like this cool side project. It may have never came out. Who knows, right? Like, you know, games get canceled, right?
Yeah.
But to see the hardware get canceled, that just made it so that game never had a chance, right? And I'm just one of many other games that people were inspired by that piece of hardware. What can we actually do? And the problem I really think with Kinect was they screwed up with Kinect with version 1. When they released version 1, there were some cutbacks they did for Kinect for the 360 that made the peripheral not as responsive. Mm-hmm. And so when your first impression of a new technology like that is a backward step to what you're accustomed to. Then when you introduce version 2, doesn't mean everyone's going to jump on board. So I think what really killed it was version 1. And so by the time it came around, it was weird, because like Kinect really wasn't for, even though hardcore gamers would buy it, it really wasn't for the hardcore. It was really meant for more of the casual market.
Oh, dude, when it came to the 360, I had a bunch of little games, and me and the twins used to play. Like there was a bunch of like mini games where one thing would make the room, like the floor would be lava, and they would have to like jump onto different things and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun bringing like the family together with those types of games and stuff, man. That's one of the reasons why I really liked it.
Yeah, well, and then when you start your new console, making it mandatory, and so not everyone having the expectations met with the first gen, right? And you make it mandatory on your new console, and your new console is more expensive than your competitor.
Yeah, I think the price point had a lot to do with it, man.
We all relived that time when the Xbox One launched. I mean, I don't think anyone will let anybody forget it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that was just one of those things on top of everything else that was going on that just wasn't in line with the core audience that buys Xbox. It's more of the year 2 or year 3 adopter that buy Xbox that would be interested in.
Well, I mean, if business standpoint, if you're looking at it, you look at the 360 generation and what the first Kinect did. I mean, to me, like I would have thought there wouldn't have been such a backlash towards having the Kinect in with the console, though.
Well,
if it was $400, do you think that it would be that much of a backlash? I don't think there would be nearly as much if it didn't take away from the processing power, the deficit.
Same thing that K-Mag was saying, man.
Yeah, if it didn't take away from that deficit that was there, that would have been a thing. But there are some games that I just didn't like the controls being there. Like when I played Rise, I didn't want to yell at my television to shoot things. Like, what button do I hit?
Damn it!
What button do I hit? Like
volley.
I didn't want to.
Volley.
Especially when in the middle of the night, like your wife's asleep and you're gaming, and all the lights are out and you're yelling that. Like, oh my gosh, it gets you in trouble. So like stuff like that, I didn't want. Like, but there was obviously cool potential that was there with the device, right? I mean, if the device didn't have potential, you wouldn't have it in the new iPhone. You wouldn't have it in these new VR headsets, right?
Mm-hmm.
The technology does live on. That depth of field camera is in the latest iPhone that everyone's been bragging about, and it's old technology. It's just been shrunken down. That's all it is.
Yeah, and the one thing also that was problematic is the fact that if compared to the 360 Kinect to this one, the Xbox was already established. The 360 was all for a console had the right amount of games. It was already established. And then now you want to, and I understand that you wanted to catch the iron while it was hot, but the problem was it wasn't enough content. I think I forgot that I do have Dance Central. And when I got it, I think it came, I can't actually remember how long ago it came out, maybe a year or so, but you kind of seen the writing on the wall then, because as robust as the first 2 installments of Dance Central was with all the music and everything,
Mm-hmm.
This one was a dumbed down version, and on the Xbox One. And I'm like, come on, why I can't really look and get the music like I used to? Why I can't take the music that I had and put it into here?
Well, I think what happened with Dance Central was, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was either free or it was like $20, and
yeah, it was really cheap, and you could, and it was still
you could
great,
buy the
but
music
you could
is
see,
what it was.
Yeah, it was different, and you kind of seen the writing on the wall then, and it was just too many things that happened at once. If they brought the Kinect in later with the vision that they had with everything, the Kinect would be fine right now. It's just that they shoved it down gamers' throats. They weren't ready for it. Again, it was just like when I was getting my Xbox One at launch, GameStop, me and the people that I was talking to, they were saying like, man, I'm happy about getting the Xbox One, but I'm not ready to have the Kinect. I could take that $100 and I could buy more games with it. And just imagine with that extra $100, what games they would have bought with that. You see what I'm saying? So it was bad. They shouldn't have done it. They shouldn't have done it that way. They shouldn't have forced it on the gamers.
I think at the end of the day, I think even if people hated on the Kinect, I think there's a lot of people out there that did see its potential. Unfortunately, the beginning of this generation was such a clusterfuck on Microsoft and Xboxes, and that they made a lot of bad decisions that inherently basically put this piece of hardware in the ground. And I mean, it's unfortunate, but maybe at some point in time, you know, because we are going to be getting our mixed reality on in about a year or so. I'm calling in about a year, like next E3, they're going to start showing like VR, AR, and stuff like that with the Xbox One X. Maybe at some point down the road, they'll have a version 3 and they'll put it out there or something like that for people who do like the Kinect. But then again, there's a lot of other people that are like, well, now Rare is free to do non-Kinect games, even though that's what they wanted to do as well. They wanted to do the Kinect Sports and stuff like that, but a lot of people thought they were absolutely forced to. All in all, at the end of the day, it is a sad day, but we still got this crazy, you know, powerful console coming out on the 7th. When you look at like 2018 in terms of exclusives and stuff like that, you know, like, there's a lot of good stuff coming on around the corner for people who do have an Xbox or do invest in one, you know, this holiday and whatnot. So, yeah.
Let me make one last point. And the one thing that they could do for the people who have a Kinect, I think it's just fan service. But
give me an adapter, man.
Well, yeah, no, they gave the adapter for free.
No,
yeah,
they should give me an adapter for like since they're coming out with the X, man.
I never got an adapter with my S. To be honest with you, they never.
Oh, I got mine. I called in and they took your serial number to your X. I mean to the S, and then they shipped it to you for free. But
but I didn't get an S. So
they sent me to a website to fill out, and I filled it out, and then never got it, and then they said they stopped giving it out. I'm like, oh well, whatever.
Oh, that's
so yeah, it just sits there now.
But the one thing I was going to say was that, you know, to just show gratitude. I mean, I doubt if this will happen, but bring back 360 Kinect games. You know, bring back some of those games and let people see what the Kinect 2.0 would have been like with those 360 games utilizing the Kinect. And you might, you know,
so you're saying enhance back compat?
Yeah.
Connecting, it wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't know how, you know, how much of a nuisance that would be for them, but I would just say just for I think that would get people to buy those games, and if they still have their Kinect like I do, that's something that they can use, and that's just more income into Xbox's pockets. So
I got you. I mean, at the end of the day, I did say I was one of the people that said with like the Master Chief Collection that they're just basically kind of turning their head on that one and just kind of praying that nobody realizes that exists. And what happens? They decide that they're going to do the Xbox One X enhancement on that. So I was wrong on that. Maybe they will down the line do back compat kind of like enhanced 360 Kinect games, but until then we do have a bright like future looking forward, and you know, things like the Fable reboot, State of Decay, Crackdown that's coming out, the next Forza Horizon coming out next year and stuff like that. There's a lot of like games and stuff that we're going to be talking about in the future. So you know, I'll grieve now. But I'm excited for what Xbox is bringing to the table, coming from the drop of the Xbox One X and leading into the future. But with that being said, talking about the Xbox One X, there's something I've been seeing on Twitter. People have been going absolutely nuts over this, and it's the fact that Xbox is giving out review consoles. And one of the things I see people getting upset about is Xbox is giving their consoles to all these like reviewers and YouTubers that have done nothing but talk shit about Xbox like this entire generation. And part of me thinks that is actually a good strategy. But let's hit Dark Optimus. Dark, have you seen what they've been talking about on Twitter? Like Boogie and all them like getting their review copy for the Xbox One X, something like 30 games to download that all feature like 4K gameplay and stuff like that. How do you feel about like Xbox giving it to these YouTubers that haven't been so nice to the console this generation, dude?
Did you just say Xbox giving it to you?
X gonna give it to you.
Yeah. but I think I've seen a little bit about it. You know me, I'm not.
I was gonna say you must not be on Twitter a lot, man.
I don't try to get too much into it because I know some people can be toxic about it and get all all butthurt and stupid about things, and it's like it's I have to agree with you, but I think it could be a good strategy for Microsoft and for Xbox to kind of do that, because I think at the end of the day, these are the people who were talking shit about you, but they're the ones that could actually potentially bring you back from
if you win them over, like
exactly. I mean, you already won over Digital Foundry. You can win over these other YouTubers who are basically
that's still kind of up in the air, but I see what you're saying.
It is, man. Yeah. But I think that they could definitely have a potential of actually putting their foot in and saying, hey, we might actually win this generation back a little bit. Maybe not completely. I don't think we'll completely win it, but I think we have a very good potential.
They'll pull a PS3 basically.
Yeah, I think they'll pull a PS3. Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've already kind of pulled the PS3 already, because, I mean, there are a lot of people who are still buying a lot of their multiplats on Xbox just because of the fact that the games just seem to... I think because some of the games seem to run a little bit better on the Xbox besides the PS4 Pro, because I know the Pro has had problems.
Run a little bit better? Dude,
well, maybe a lot of better.
I was gonna say what I've been seeing has been some like night and day type stuff, man.
I'm talking about like between the S and the Pro, like that kind of stuff. Not the X. I'm talking about like between the S and the Pro, because I think a lot of people who went and bought the Pro are buying stuff on their Xbox because of the fact that the Pro versions aren't getting like the enhancements that they should be, and that kind of tells you that they were really focusing only on the VR, and that's not good.
I got you, man. But all right, Dark. Did you see like anybody's unboxing like that got these review consoles? Have you seen any of them yet?
I saw a few.
Dude, did you see?
I saw a few. I think.
What do you think about what they gave with this? First of all, there was a giant right on the top. It looked like the actual like the Scorpio chip, right?
Yeah.
And then the booklet in the middle actually did comparisons, and it had, of course, the Xbox One X specs, and then it had the PS4 Pro, PS4, and Xbox One S. They had all the specs to compare everything like that. But then when it came down to it, they gave them like 6 months of gold. They gave them like 3 months Game Pass. They gave them like 30 games, man. What do you think about them, like about how much they gave for these, dude?
It's almost as if they're trying to kiss their ass a little bit too much.
Almost.
And I think especially with the 30 games, like I mean that's a little bit too much. I mean you could have gave them maybe like 1 or 2 games to kind of utilize what the X can really do, especially like Assassin's Creed being out and Wolfenstein.
Wait, what is it good as a console if you don't have the games to show it off though?
Yeah, but I mean, they could have done like 1 or 2 games instead of like 30 games. That's a lot of games, man. That's way too many games that they really didn't even need to give these people. They should have given them to us. Damn it!
Yo, Dark. You know what I thought? You know what I thought was genius? Putting in game codes for games that are marketing by Sony, like the Star Wars Battlefront 2. Yeah. They put that in the box as well. Like, here, check this game out on here. I thought that was genius, man. But man,
what?
It was like Christmas.
I think they're confident, but I think that's the thing. They're confident enough to say, "Hey, we're putting some of these games that Sony has marketing rights for in our console, and they're gonna look 10 times better." So,
that definitely, I thought that was really smart. Let's hit up the Don, man. Don, have you seen like these review consoles, and how do you feel about who they're giving it to? Do you think it's a good strategy, or you think they should give more to I guess you could say more unbiased, and then even more like pro Xbox like YouTubers and websites out there? What do you think, man?
I know what they're doing. I mean, it's a power play, right? They won over the developers for the most part. They won over you have to win three different over, right? It's basically the media, the gamer and the developers, right? And I think they won over the gamer. I think they won over the developers, and they're going for the shutout for the media. And I just don't see them being able to put that much of a dent in it, to be honest with you. I mean, look at Digital Foundry, for example, right? They're hot or cold, right? In regards to things. And, they say, they do one thing with Shadows of War, just listen to facts, right? And, like they're getting death threats, they're getting people dropping off their channel. Their livelihood is all of a sudden changed just because of, one thing, because their whole income is based on a fan base that literally despises everything that Xbox does, right?
Yeah.
And so, so what you see at every video that, is after that is kind of just trying to make it sound like these things are much more on an even playing field when they're really not. And that's why, I never had, much faith in Digital Foundry and all that sort of stuff, right? Because every time they stick their neck out there, right, they have to kind of retract back in their turtle shell a little bit. And it's the same thing it's going to happen with IGNs and these sort of things. Like these are sites that are just dying, right? Literally, like year over year, like they're getting less and less traffic. So if you're getting less traffic and your customer base is this kind of, I would say, this toxic fan base that hates Xbox, right? And you start seeing positive things about Xbox, they're going to stop going to your site. And then if you don't have Xbox guys going to your site either, right? Just because of the stuff that you were doing in the past, and it wasn't even kill, or wasn't, it just wasn't even. Then what are you left with? So, any goodwill that they're going to get a little bit of traction, I just don't see it lasting with some of the people they gave it to. And then I think they stood a better chance helping other people grow than really pushing it out to these sites. That's just me. I know what they're doing, though.
I can kind of see what you're saying in terms of like the YouTubers out there that have this fan base that is just like rabid anti-Xbox, and Xbox sent like their new X console over to them. If they start talking good about that console, they're gonna lose their fan base, and they don't have any like pro Xbox watchers out there because of the type of shit that they've been talking about this whole generation, and they lose credibility, they lose subscribers and stuff like that. So I can see what you're saying on that. But let's be honest, man. Microsoft, Xbox, they march to their own kind of like drum sometimes especially when it comes to marketing. Some of the stuff they do, I have no freaking clue why they're doing it. So
it's a gamble, right? Like I think they know. I mean, they're smart enough to know it's a gamble, right? I mean, like they know it's like the best one I saw was like I watch this guy sometimes. What is he called? Unbox Therapy or whatever. He just buys stuff, and it's just like cool stuff on the internet, and he just legitimately gets excited about cool things. Like that was a perfect example of somebody that you should send it to, right? He has a huge subscriber base. He's not invested in one side or the other, right? He just gets excited about stuff, right? And he opens boxes, and people watch his stuff because he's genuinely excited about tech and technology that he buys. And so, I mean, that would be a perfect example of somebody you should send it to, because, he walks that line in the middle, and people say, send it to more Xbox eccentric people. I don't think that's a solution either, because like, that doesn't really get much ground either. You need to find those last kind of neutral people that are out there, and prop those guys up.
Well, they need to talk to me, because I'm king neutral. I know all the neutral people. All right, they should send me a review console, and I'll let the other neutral people out there know about them. See, that's the way they should have done it.
But you only claim that you're king neutral. You're not like actually.
Well, how do you think other?
How dare you, Dark Goldblum?
Wow. Shade being thrown.
Oh my goodness! And hold on, huge shout out to Alan out there. Alan, I did not know you changed your name to Skull Stomper, man. So. All right. I mean, if you like it, I like the whole Yard Stomper thing as well too, man. It kind of brought me back to like I don't know, old school type stuff for me. But dude, Skull Stomper is pretty cool. I just wanted to shout you out, man. I did not know that was you. But
It gave him Vietnam flashbacks. That's what happened.
Watch out for Charlie in the trees. Yo, Mega, what do you think? I know you have to have an opinion on this, man. First, what do you think about who they're giving these review consoles to? And second of all, dude, I know you've seen the unboxings, man. Are they just like giving everything, including like the kitchen sink, to these guys? Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, look, I'm never going to hate on another man's or woman's success. I mean, you know, if I want to get to those levels, I just got to work harder. It's not that. But the sad thing about this situation is that it's already turning into a fanboy discussion to a lot of people. Like, you got people making videos saying, "Oh, Xbox guys are crying because they don't get it," and and I'm like, you know, it's not.
We don't even care.
Yeah, I don't care about if these guys get it. And then, like, you know, I had somebody hit me up, "Oh, you're salty because you're not getting it. Your channel's not big enough for this and that." The thing of it is this, I put a tweet out today, you know, to Mikey Barra, and it was about just saying, look, even when your intentions are good, you have to sometimes worry about the integrity of some people. And the thing of it is that, look, I don't have a problem with Boogie or Angry Joe, whoever else gets these things, right? That's great for them, right? Their success, you know, so their success and what they do on YouTube has got them to get that opportunity, and you know what I'm saying. So God bless them for that. But it's dangerous in one sense because it's just like what Don said. Their fan base. These people live off of the income of YouTube. Mm-hmm. And once you know, you've seen these videos come from a lot of these YouTubers. Once that money start going crazy, or they get upset, or like YouTube start doing some funny stuff with the monetization and all of that, they started bitching and start saying, "Hey, look, let's do this, let's do that. Let's, you know, hey, look, we need your support." If they go out and they say positive things about the Xbox, what's going to happen is that they're going to lose fan base because they want to hear somebody, you know, saying something negative so they could feel that that the PlayStation is still superior to anything Xbox makes. Mm-hmm. And then you got Francis saying, well, I'm sorry, you got Boogie saying something positive, saying how fantastic it is. And then then, you know, maybe a month or so, because, you know, people are bitching and complaining, here comes Francis that wants to say something negative. Yeah. That's dangerous because that's still ammunition and fuel for the fan base to still talk bad about and put doubt in people's mind about the Xbox One X. I know what I totally understand what they're doing because they want to win over these people, the naysayers like Digital Foundry and others, but it's about the integrity of people. I watched Angry Joe be a hardcore 360 guy, completely do about face and dog out Xbox about DRM, but this is a PC guy, and 98% of the games that they own are digital. You know what I'm saying? And you have to have, you know what I'm saying, there's going to be checks on when you're doing stuff through Steam and other places. Mm-hmm. So I didn't understand that from the beginning. It's just dangerous. I hope that it works.
So K-Mega, let me ask you.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous about it. You know what I'm saying? I hope it does. I hope people will show integrity and be honest. That's all I care about.
So K-Mega, let me ask you this. So am I wrong in the sense that a lot of these bigger YouTube channels that actually built their customer base off the Xbox hate?
Somebody
that actually
keep going. I'll be right back.
That growth actually happened right when Xbox One released, right?
Right.
So, like, you know, their whole player base, I mean, their whole customer base is for the last 3 years is that. Mm-hmm. You know, their channels grow ridiculous in that period of time. So if you take that away, you know, what do they have to live on, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. It seems like they're going to have to change someday because, you know, Xbox has been on a roll. They haven't really been screwing up ever since they kind of righted the ship. They just keep going their own thing. I think the only thing you can really knock them on is this holiday is a little thin. But we'll see what next holiday brings, right?
Right. So you know, it is what it is. Like I just hope that they have the integrity. And then for the next thing that about, you know, give it to the smaller YouTubers, that would be great. You know, of course, hell yeah, K-Mega would love to get 30 games in the Xbox One X. I will be showing gameplay every day. I come off from work and I'm ready to do it.
You'd actually play it and actually give a good. All right,
let's be honest here. At the end of the day, Xbox, Microsoft as a whole corporation is about numbers. They've always been about numbers. If the numbers don't reflect what they're thinking about doing, they're not going to do it. So when you're looking at like the up and coming YouTubers or the small YouTubers out there, the numbers don't add up for them, and that
and that was the point that I was going to make. Yeah, it's like, look, it would be great in La La Land, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But the thing of it is that, look, I'm going to get the X, and I'm going to be happy with it. And like I said, to the rich goes the spoils. You know what I'm saying? They already, the top 1% of the people that's in YouTube that's got millions of views. It makes sense to have those people get their hands on the Xbox One X and and show what it can do. It's cheap advertising. Hold on, that's cool.
Does anybody know? Did Windows Central get a review console?
They did, but it's in a place where you basically you can't receive it.
Right, and another thing that
you'll have to talk to Jez about it. He gave it like a long out story. He had it sent to one place, but he's not at that place, and therefore he's not able to review it right now. So.
Well, and another thing that I thought that was kind of odd was that, look, I mean, saying big shout out to the Tick podcast. We got Fame and all those guys out there. They've interviews with Phil Spencer and Mikey Barra and those guys. I understand that they're smaller channels, but why the hell they didn't get one? You know what I'm saying? Why is it that the Mixer players that you're trying to help promote Mixer, why I haven't seen anybody having one from them. Right there. What you know what I'm saying? Look, I understand the Boogies and these other guys are huge, right? But you also want to promote Mixer. You also want to get people that you've done interviews with at least. You know what I'm saying? Have an opportunity to talk about it so they can bring it out. Because the one thing, even though there's smaller YouTubers out there, if they show that they got gameplay and they put up there, have an unboxing of the Xbox One X, they're going to get hit. That's going to probably be their biggest, their biggest base for that video. So, or videos that they show out of it. So therefore, it will bring in advertisement. And it will show the true power, and you have a different outlook than what I fear that could backfire on them, because these people are worried about their money instead of they're worried about telling the truth.
You know what? The smaller crowd, I think, honestly, I mean, like, we're all buying our X, right? Like, I don't, no one's paying for mine. I don't really care for that or anything like that. But, you could, all these people that are obviously more fans of your product, you could have just made the product available to them sooner. They already would have paid for it. They would have been happy with just that. Like, hey, cool, I get to play it 2 weeks sooner, and I'm a pro fan of that. And that's huge. Like, you could have done that and maybe thrown in 3 of their top games. Like, they're a positive channel. We hook them up with a couple games so they can try X earlier, get them on the console earlier. And whatever, make sure they sign the NDA and all that good stuff. You can set it up like that if they wanted to, but I don't think that was ever thought about or brought up or anything like that.
I don't think that was ever. Even
but think outside of the box. I mean, everyone we podcast with, we all bought ours, right? So it's not about getting a free one. We just want to get one, right?
Right.
So you could easily just make those people happy just by just make it available to, like, say, a few hundred sooner. And if anyone says anything, why did they get there sooner? Well, they're an influencer. They're a smaller influencer, but they're influencer.
That's right. That's right. Because, I mean, regardless, it's really funny because you'll see like the smaller PlayStation guys, they're not, but they're all unified. They follow somebody that says something, and you'll hear a bigger PlayStation podcaster say something that the little PlayStation podcaster said. You know what I'm saying? It's really crazy there. It's a lot more unified. I mean, the beautiful thing about the Xbox community is that there is no just one group that just says this is how it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be people that's going to not like certain things, and that's the beautiful thing. Xbox has to, they listen to us. But again, their outreach, even though I know what they're trying to do, and it's like I said, it's all about, I get it. You know what I'm saying? You great, good intentions. This is great publicity. But damn, these people they're worried about their pocketbooks more than they're worried about talking good about the Xbox One X at the end of the day. And right, if they start losing subs, that's it. That's a wrap, Jack. Whoever, that's a wrap. They are going to start. They're not going to talk about it no more, or they're going to start.
They're going to be closet Xbox players, man.
Yeah. And that's what's going to be unfortunate. And we're going to go through this bullshit all over again.
Yeah, because we're more critical on things. You know, we try to give both sides to the spectrum. You know, and I think there's a lot of podcasts that don't do that. Yeah. So I agree with K-Mega on that one.
Yeah, what?
I know, right? I might as well just cut out my tongue right now and
wait.
I want to see a video of that.
No. Oh, damn, dude, really?
Confirmation.
Oh,
no, but again, let me just say this last point before we, you got to say what you got to say, Bot. Is that look, nobody is hating that these guys got it. I'm happy that they got it. You know what I'm saying? I'm always happy.
Are they going to be real with it, man?
Yeah, I'm always happy when people get free stuff or they win things or whatever. It's just in my nature. I love when people are happy. Yeah. That's just me. But the thing of it is that, look, like I said, it's all about the integrity, man. It's all about the integrity. And I hope they did their homework and gave it to the right people.
Yeah. And I mean, some of their decisions are definitely skeptical, to say the least, but at the end of the day, hopefully, they tell it how it is. You know what I'm saying? They got something. They got recognized by Xbox. They got a huge setup. Like I love what they did for their review console with giving all the games and stuff like that. I was like, damn. They want to make sure they have every base covered. They play even the multiplats, the exclusives, everything. They have it all in there for them. They even have the booklet that says the specs from all the pieces of the hardware, except for the Switch, because let's just face it, the Switch is a handheld. But anyway, and they covered every base with these things. Now, hopefully, the people who are privileged enough to get them, hopefully they man up and they talk common sense and truth when they're reviewing these things. I mean, that's all we can ask as gamers, really. Talking about asking for stuff as gamers, guys, again, on Twitter, because, besides gaming and YouTube, Twitter is life as well. There is a huge push from the Xbox community for a sequel to Sunset Overdrive. And I got to say, personally, I thought a sequel to this game would have been a no-brainer. But, huge shout out to my BGST brother, Mr. Crap Gamer, who went to the official Xbox site, and there is a spot where you can actually put down an idea for a feature or something with Xbox, and other people can vote on it. And he put in about Sunset Overdrive 2, and I believe his posting of a Sunset Overdrive 2, wanting that, has gone up over 2,000 votes for yes so far. So guys, if you follow him on Twitter, go back, check out his Twitter page, and click on that link and vote yes if you want Sunset Overdrive 2. But I thought this game would have been a no-brainer, and it's kind of funny to me how the community has to come together for a sequel to this game that I feel actually did not sell badly for a brand new IP. Mega, what do you think about this, man? Are you backing the Sunset Overdrive 2? And do you think this should come regardless of what the votes Crap Gamer gets in this forum, man?
Oh man, I'm totally behind it just because of this reason. Stop with the numbers. Stop looking with the numbers and think about the gamers. I understand that. Look, if you try to make a Sunset Overdrive 2, it might not sell well. But you know what? PlayStation's third party and also PlayStation themselves. The one thing that I give them credit for is that they keep trying. Even though those games might not it may not be great, but they keep bringing those games back. And I understand, like I said, there's a lot of their third-party games. They keep making sequel after sequel after sequel after sequel. But the thing of it is that, damn it, all of those games that came out at launch needs to, well, not all of them, but all the AAA games needs to come back. Rise, and even Quantum Break. I know Quantum Break wasn't a launch title, but Quantum Break needs to come back. Recore needs to come back. Ori and the Blind Forest needs to come back. Sunset Overdrive needs to come back. All of these games that had the Microsoft stamp on it, bring them back. Damn it, that's what we want. And you know what? Sometimes you're going to have to eat. You know, got to eat the crow and say, look, these people may not want to get it, but just to have that option to have those games out there, yes, bring it. So Sunset Overdrive, bring it. Go in there and talk to Insomniac and bring it. There's no need to look. I get tired of hearing this bullshit about Xbox got no games, and then when you hear that, well, Insomniac is over here trying to solicit this game and like, look, we love this. We want to put our passion behind it. This is, please, somebody take this off our hands. And if PlayStation or anybody else get it, I'm going to be highly disappointed. And every Xbox fan should be, because that game should be Xbox's, nobody else's.
You know, Mega, you pulled up a great point with saying how Insomniac wants to make this, because they went out on Twitter and they posted a tweet saying that they would love to make Sunset Overdrive 2, they just don't have a publisher. Now, that Twitter thread started with them showing just like a building of one of the levels of Sunset Overdrive. And then, you know, a bunch of Sunset Overdrive fans came out and asked when a sequel was coming, and all that good stuff. And the thread is actually really long on Twitter, but they basically had to kind of bite the bullet and tell the truth on this. They're like, we would love to make it, we just don't have a publisher. I don't see why. Like, a lot of times when it comes to brand new IPs, the first one does not sell that great. But when you hear the community like really clamoring for a sequel to it, I mean, there's a bigger consumer base now than there was when Sunset Overdrive, the first one, came out. So automatically you're going to get bigger numbers, just common sense wise. So I don't see why it would be such a hesitation on Xbox's part. Well,
let me also say this too. Another reason is why Sunset Overdrive didn't get the love that it deserved was because it was considered a 720p game. You know what I'm saying? The resolution gate killed a lot of the success of these games, of these really good quality games.
It did.
Yeah, and then, you know what I'm saying? So when you're talking about it, you're going to bring a Sunset Overdrive 2 native 4K with multiplayer, add some microtransactions to it, or loot boxes, or whatever some people say that they hate. That game is going to sell. It is. It just will. And you know, and that right there is. I think they missed the point on a lot of things, and and like you said, they just keep looking at the numbers and have to sometimes, hey, look. Cut themselves and say, damn it, I don't want to do it, but let's just do it. Let's just do it and see what happens and roll the dice. And I bet you Sunset Overdrive would sell this time.
Exactly. I think if they made a sequel and they put co-op multiplayer in it when it comes to the story, because that, for people I know who played the game, the only thing that they talked about that was negative when it came to the first Sunset Overdrive, they're like, this game screams like 4-player co-op for the story. And I'm like, well, I'm thinking to myself, they didn't really structure the single player that way, but they could have, you know? They could have, in certain areas, had a lot more enemies, or due to how many people are running together, will scale the amount of enemies up or down, you know, in accordance. So there was ways that they could do that. Now, if they came out with a sequel and they did that one thing where they made it 4-player co-op, that right then and there would, in my opinion, would sell a lot more. It just seems like the community really wants this. So let's go to...
Well, hold on. Crap corrected me and said 900p.
900, yeah. You tell them, Crap. 1080p.
Yeah. Thank you, Crap.
That 180p difference, man, we can see it.
Yeah, okay.
But let's hit the developer of the panel. So Don, what do you think about this push for a sequel for Sunset Overdrive? Are you backing it? And do you think, you know, regardless of whether or not Crap gets those thousands of votes or whatnot, do you think they should just go ahead and do it anyway? Seeing Insomniac is saying they want to, they just don't have a publisher right now. What do you think, man?
I want them to too, but I want the core team working on it. I don't want no B team. I don't, it's fine they have new hires and stuff like that. I mean, that's going to happen with a project like that. But I want the core team. I want the core DNA in that game. I do not want a Crackdown 2 situation with Sunset Overdrive. In regards to that, and here's the harsh reality: their whole entire team is stuck on Spider-Man right now.
They're almost done with Spider-Man, dude.
That team might be stuck on the next Spider-Man if this one does really well. So, I don't mind getting a sequel. I want a sequel. But what I don't want is, basically B-level team stuff creating a sequel. I want it done properly. I think anyone that's a fan of that franchise, I think, would want the same in regards to that. So that's kind of my take on it. I don't know exactly all the ins and outs, but it seems like that whole entire team is on that, and they may mean looking at a new contract with a new Spider-Man, as far as from what I understand. So we'll see what really happens there. And a lot of times in those contracts, it's only a certain amount of your team or certain key guys have to be working on this project when they sign those contracts, right? So it may be the thing that Microsoft wants them, but they want certain core people to be working on the project, and they may not be free to work on that project. And that might be a deal breaker for them.
Don, I really want to agree with you on that, but when it comes to a development team like Insomniac, I'm going to go out on a limb and trust their hires. And if they're saying that they do want to do this game, but they don't have a publisher, I've never seen this development team half-ass a title. All right. So with that being said, even if it's their quote unquote,
I like those guys, but I have seen them have a title that really wasn't up to the standard for them. In regards to, I'm going to leave that, leave it be which title that actually is. But
oh man, you're going to leave us hanging, dude.
But if you look at when they went, independent, right? And you go through everything they played independently, I guarantee you're going to find a product that's not quite to that Insomniac level, as far as the game goes. So I do have concerns about that.
Would that game be published by GameStop by any chance?
No, I haven't played that one, so I wouldn't say it's that. But I'm sure Google will be your friend. You can help find that. But,
I Bing everything. I don't Google jack, man. Anyway,
but you know what I mean. So we'll see where all that goes. I mean, I just want the A team. In regards, I don't mind if they mix some new hires in there. but if you have certain core missing talent from the product, sometimes it's just not the same. It happens in bands all the time, like when the drummer leaves or something like that. It happens in the game world. Publishers want, good publishers understand that you can't just plug and play certain core talent into a development team. It just doesn't work like that. Some publishers would love it to be like that. You just plug and play, a new game artist in there, and it's good to go. But it just doesn't work that way sometimes. So,
Crap thinks he knows in the chat what game you are talking about.
I'm not going to agree or disagree. I think you guys can figure it out.
Crap, we will take him behind the scenes, Crap, and we will break him.
No, I like their work. I mean, honestly, Sunset Overdrive put Insomniac was never been like on my radar until Sunset Overdrive, and then I started playing some of their PlayStation titles of the past, and they're great.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, obviously they're a talented team. I think they can do. I just want the A team. I just don't want no second tier. I want the top tier working on Sunset.
All right, barring that one misstep, I feel like they learned a lot from that not so great game that Crap's talking about, and I feel like, I don't know, I would still be confident that if they got a team together for a sequel, that it would be good. But that's just me. Me and Don, we don't agree all the time. That's one thing I do love about this panel. We don't have to agree with each other. We discuss it. We have debates, on the topics and stuff like that. At the end of the day, we all are very opinionated. And with that being said, Dark Optimus, man, would you support Sunset Overdrive 2. Have you supported Crap Gamers kind of like post on the Xbox forum, and did you vote yes? And do you think they should do it anyway, regardless of these votes, man?
I don't support anything Crap does.
Shit.
That's messed up.
Oh, guys! Damn it, yo!
No, I mean,
no, you got to be quiet for a second. We will get to you, man. Let's
go ahead, Dark. Go ahead. I was gonna wait for y'all to finish before I said anything.
Everybody in the chat, say what's up to Predator.
Yo, what's up, man? I had to work, man. Sorry for the.
We already booed your job, man. We already did it.
Y'all did what?
We booed your job. We were like, we understand about income and everything like that, but obviously, his job is just not next pod. They're not next podcast fans, so we booed him, man.
Oh man, that's fucked up. But I made it though, so better late than never. So go ahead, Dark man. Say what you had to say.
I even forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, it's not that interesting anyway.
That Crap Gamer does.
I think we lost like 20 viewers when Dark started talking. So go ahead.
Hold on. On that note, I do want to give a huge shout out to the over 100 people watching right now. Guys, thank you for your support. Just slap that thumbs up button for us, yo. Let's get the news out there and see how many more people we could get in here to hear maybe not so much Dark Optimus, but Predator's here, so we can hear his opinions.
Oh man!
Wow.
But to talk about Sunset Overdrive, I mean,
he remembers.
I think it'll happen. I think it'll happen definitely. I just don't think Microsoft's gonna be the ones to publish it. I think it'll go. I think it'll definitely be a multi-plat game this time around.
You pretty sure there's no red tape they have to get through to make that happen?
I mean, you know more than I do, man. I mean, if you got the juice,
I only know water cooler talk. I can't necessarily say that stuff's real, right? So,
right,
because I've heard water cooler talk that's complete BS before from people working in the industry. But look at how they've done deals in the past. Sometimes there's multi-game deals when they do these kind of new franchises in regards to that. So they don't necessarily own the IP, but sometimes they just can't get it on other platforms in regards to that. So that's kind of where I'm taking at that. It's kind of seems like a little bit like a Gears deal, a little bit like some of these other products that could have gone to other platforms, but they didn't.
And another thing that could happen as well, if they do give the green light to Sunset Overdrive, something that Crap doesn't really like too much, but play anywhere. And, you know what I'm saying? That will definitely be an option. So, because they want to recoup all
Crap right now. Like, there's a lot of people that don't like play anywhere, man. There's a lot of people.
I love play anywhere. Me and Crap don't agree on that shit whatsoever. I love play anywhere. I think it's fantastic. But I'm just saying that Crap is not a big fan of it, but the thing of it is that if they do give the green light for it, that's what's going to happen because they want to get as many people to buy this game this time around if it goes to happen, and I think that's a smart move.
Am I the only one that still has those Overdrive drinks? Like, I still have them in my house. I haven't touched them.
Really? You need to crack one open and try.
I think I'm going to crack it open when I play the X.
Oh, dude, you got live stream that.
Overdrive 2 comes out, man.
I mean, like going into overdrive with the X. Yeah. Pred, what do you think about this, man? And I'm gonna ask you a couple things about some of the topics we had already passed, but what do you think about this Sunset Overdrive 2? We do have Crap Gamer. He did put out kind of like it's a post on
user voice thing. Yeah, I saw that.
All right. First of all, did you vote for it?
I did. I voted for it. I'm not a fan of the game. It wasn't my type of game, but I'm not one person to tell anybody that they can't have something they enjoy, So I voted for it. It was a very colorful game. It's just not my style of game that I play, but it does have a following. And so why not, why alienate those guys for a game they enjoyed because I don't like it. So of course I voted yes for it. It was an Xbox exclusive, and I would like to see a sequel. Just because it sold bad or whatever reasons they decided not to break ties with Insomniac. The game obviously was fun to some people. So yeah, I voted for it. I don't know if Microsoft is going to get the publishing for it or anything like that, but I mean, if the door is open, at least listen. At least have the Microsoft. Someone from Microsoft should be at least listening to this right now, because at some point in time they listened before and they got the game made. So at least instead of just saying, you just don't say no to nothing. You have to go and at least see what's on the table first and then make your decision based off of that. So I'm pretty sure they're in talks. Don, answer this question. Okay, so I'm sorry I'm putting you on the spot, but you're the developer here. So when a game
tonight anyway, so
when a game is in development, does that mean they've actually already no, let me back up. When a company says they need a publisher for a game, have they already started working on it?
In theory, they could. Publishing is just funding, right? That's really what it boils down to, and there's usually a contract and stipulations and stuff.
I'm just wondering if they've actually started work on this already,
they
concept
could.
version.
I mean, they could. I mean, there's nothing stopping them from having play with the models or doing assets and stuff like that. Because the reality is, they own the franchise. The only time it would be an issue is if they don't own the franchise, and technically they still could do the work, but then you're just kind of wasting money and manpower at that point. But what's most likely happening is, because they have that contract with Sony and that whole Spider-Man game, right? Usually with those contracts, they have a certain amount of staff, or certain key members of staff can't be working on other projects. They have to be dedicated towards this when you have a publishing deal.
Yeah, and maybe when they finish Spider-Man, they'll have the personnel. I think I heard you say this when I first logged in, that they're working on Spider-Man, maybe a Spider-Man 2, but maybe they can use some of the money they're going to make from those games, or at least that game, Spider-Man game, to hire a few people. But for them to the second time they come out and kind of try to put Microsoft under the bus, in a sense, where they were we're waiting on Microsoft. Well, okay. And now they're coming out and saying, well, we just need a publisher. And obviously Microsoft doesn't want to do it. They didn't say it that way, but that's the way I took it. So I say this to Insomniac, and I'm sure no one from Insomniac is listening, but if this gets worded out to them, if you really are serious about wanting Microsoft to publish this game, make an Xbox One X enhanced version of the game. Start there. Enhance the game.
I agree, 100%.
Get the tools ready for it. Let me figure out how how the Xbox One X works. You can do that by practicing with a game that's already created, and it's not a long, lengthy process. Do that. Let us know you're serious about it. Let Microsoft know you're serious about it, and then go forward from there. And then, this game could have had DLC. This game could have had different game modes. This game could have had a lot more to it. That would made it. I hate to say loot crate / the other hot topic for getting extra money, but microtransactions, they could have done this
and everything, man.
Yeah, right. I mean, they could have put microtransactions. Maybe if they really want to make some money on the side off Sunset Overdrive 2, if they don't think you're going to get all their funding for it, do it that way. I mean, God forbid they go the God, sorry, it's golf works. I'm still thinking, what's the Kickstarter route? Hopefully they don't go that route. But if Microsoft doesn't pick it up, I think somebody else will. Whether it's I don't think it'll be Sony,
EA,
Twisted,
something like that.
Yeah, EA, Activision, and Twisted Weird Fate will be Nintendo. But I mean, we'll see.
Did I laugh out loud? My bad, dude.
No, you're right. I mean, that's why I said it that way. The Twisted Weird.
Everybody will love it then, though.
Yeah, but everybody.
Well, dude, here's the thing. The first one, besides that whole co-op aspect, which and I know, Pred, you said you didn't. It wasn't really your type of game, and I could respect that, man. It's a certain style and stuff like that. But when the first one came out, besides the whole resolution thing. Even people that were diehard Sony people, they were trashing it out on social media, but they were also signing petitions and stuff like that to try to get the game on the PlayStation. So there was something there in terms of this game, and I just think it's a no-brainer. You have Insomniac kind of teasing, and it could be a move, to kind of force Xbox. Force Microsoft to do something here, and it could be a genius move by Insomniac to get another contract going for another game. I have not ruled that out, but when it comes down to it, you say Sunset Overdrive to people and that aren't even diehard Xbox people, and there's a feeling there. There's at least some type of feeling there. There's some type of hype for a possibility of a sequel. So, Pred, I love what you said about the Xbox One X enhancement. I think that would be a great starting point. What everybody else on the panel, what do you think about what Pred said? Go with the Xbox One X enhancement for the first Sunset Overdrive to kind of gauge how people would go, and the active player base and stuff like that off of that game. Would that be a good idea, guys?
Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I totally agree with that. I mean, you want to reintroduce that game to the fan base in order for them to see if they like it, because there's a lot of people that just skipped on it. I know it came out for free, the games for gold, but again, there's a lot of people that were new to the Xbox, or when they got the X and they just seen that and they thought it was probably just another one of those trash games, because a lot of people didn't say anything about it, and so they need to reintroduce this game another way, promote it, and that would be the best way. You say that game is in 4K, then people are going to say, "Oh, well, this game must have been important. Let me go ahead and try it."
So good too.
It would be fantastic. Yeah.
Dude, can you imagine that game in high dynamic range?
Yeah.
No, I couldn't. It would make my eyes bleed. Like that's the I couldn't. That's what I'm saying.
Like you're on acid or something.
Yeah, like it would trip me out. Like, damn, let me put this cup of adult beverage down. This is got me tripping. Yeah, so no, that was a great idea.
That title can definitely be like the poster boy title for HDR, man. No doubt about it, yo. So, like, I gotta go with Pred. I want a sequel. All right. I love the first game, and I do want a sequel to it. But to kind of like get people back familiar with it, yeah, definitely do that Xbox One X enhancement on the first one. And then start teasing like something about, can you imagine this in co-op? Well, Sunset Overdrive 2 would have 4-player co-op or something like that. Go on social media again. And then before you know it, I think we would have a sequel, and I think it would make a lot of people happy. But
hold on, let me say this though too. Another thing,
Don,
though,
that's how you do it. Yo, let me say this too. See,
yeah,
he kept going, man.
I'll teach you, Don. But let me just say this.
Give me an impression.
Yeah, you're not skilled enough. You don't have that milky voice like I do either. So.
Yeah, I don't know how to stutter like you, man.
Yeah, I do stutter, but you know what I'm saying. But my point gets across. It gets enough to where I get hated on. So let me ride. Yeah. Anyway, but
I think we all get hated on.
Yeah. No, not like me. I'm the most hated around here, but that's okay. I love it. Bring your hate. Anyway, we don't know what Microsoft is doing though. That what kind of talks they're having with Insomniac. I mean, there's Alan Wake. They could be working on that. I like Sharon Loftus. I know a lot of people don't, but I do. And she got me very excited about talking about Quantum Break, because if it came down to choices, I'd rather have a Quantum Break other than a Sunset Overdrive. But if they come out with those two games, and that's might be one of the reasons why they haven't reached out to Insomniac about that, then it'd be unfortunate. But again, we just don't know. I don't know. I think that you would want to have a game from Insomniac to come on to the Xbox and stay on there and not go anywhere else. But who knows? Who knows, man?
Honestly, it just seems like they're trying to keep the conversation alive. In regards to that, because sometimes you don't talk to somebody in a while, you just kind of get forgotten about. I don't know how you can forget about Sunset Overdrive, but you get what I'm saying with that. So they always want to be in the gamers discussion. They always want to be in the forefront of people that bought Xbox's minds, that sort of thing. And that there's multiple decisions when it comes to publishing a game, and being relevant is one of them, just as much as sales or anything else. So
I'm gonna squash this right now. At the end of the day, and Quantum Break, I absolutely loved it. But when it's all said and done, I want to see a sequel to Sunset Overdrive. I feel like that title has the ability to be a very popular franchise. If they do the co-op,
so does Quantum Break.
Hold on. I feel like Sunset Overdrive could appeal to a wider market. All right.
Hell no. Hell no.
Yeah,
no,
I do, man.
Okay, with the multiplayer and doing that, I can see that. Mm-hmm. But with Quantum Break, that is bringing in those story games that a lot of those naysayers say that Xbox doesn't have enough of, and that story is very original and it's so good.
It fills out the portfolio a little bit better than Sunset, unfortunately.
Yeah,
and I like Sunset. I don't have anything against Sunset or anything like that, but if you look at it like open world game,
the sequel to Sunset Overdrive would sell better, hands down. Would be more popular, hands down. Just the colorful aspect of its style. And then having a 4-player co-op in it, if that's what they would ever decide to do, hands down would be more popular than the Quantum Break sequel.
I love the game, but I don't know if I can hang with that one.
Dude, PUBG mode, man. That's good. I said that last night.
What's up?
You put a PUBG mode in that game.
PUBG, put a PUBG mode in everything. Yo, guess what?
Microsoft, let's get them both. Just wrap it up. Talk to Insomniac. I want them all because look, I want Rise 2. I want Sunset Overdrive 2. I want Quantum Break 2. I want Record 2. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I want a Ninja Gaiden.
That's a lot of twos, man.
I want a lot of 2s and 3s and 4s. I want, you know what I'm saying?
Crimson
I definitely want my. Well, yeah, if you want to do Crimson Skies, Crimson Skies is cool, but but I definitely. I definitely want a new Killer Instinct. There's a lot of opportunities here. So I'm just saying though, but man, just bring it back. You know what I'm saying? Go into the forums, the Xbox forums, and agree with Crap and all the rest of us that's hit yes on that, man, and voted for it, man, just because it needs to come.
We had a link just below this podcast that we're doing. I mean, that would suffice, right?
Yeah,
that would be good. We got to talk to the host about that.
I mean, I can't even get my name on there, so I mean,
yo, dude, you know what I noticed? I changed it back in the day for some reason. I guess I didn't save it, dude. I apologize to you and Dark. I will go back into settings and change all of that, and hopefully I click save this time, man. I felt so bad. I saw it like right when we went live, man. So
I'm gonna feed you to the penis.
Well, okay, so we'll just say Predator is Foos and Dark Optimus is Newark. We'll just put it like that, okay?
You using the old stuff? Oh yeah, well, I mean, because Predator's another black dude, so yeah, you can be.
Oh man,
he could be the.
Predator does have that kind of smooth voice, though, man. It's not.
But he said that I'm Newark, though. So
no, you can't be. You can't.
So I'm black then.
Hell no. You know what? I will say this right now.
Like 10 points, man.
Exactly. Let me just say this right here. The black delegation will trade any of the white members out there for our supposedly new black brother, Jeff Goldblum. We will take anybody. We'll take Russell. Not Russell. We'll take what the Simmons dude that be dressing around, dancing and shit. The old guy. We'll take anybody. Anybody. We'll take Donald Trump. I don't give a damn. But we cannot.
We agreed to trade.
All right, we're done.
For Dark Goldblum, and we will give you Pee Wee Herman. Okay.
Well, I'll take it. I'll take Pee Wee. I'll take the Pee Wee Herman that was out there, playing with himself in the bookstore.
Wow.
We'll take it.
You're making me tear up over here, man. Yeah. I'm leaving the podcast forever.
Yeah, get him out. With the black delegation, do not need this dude on with us. You know what I'm saying? I know Pred will admit, but he's
the black
cool.
Delegation would like to get rid of Dark Goldblum.
Oh, shit.
I can't talk. I was on this podcast the other day, man.
You were. What the heck, man?
Oh man.
We much love to man. We gotta keep Dark Goldblum. We gotta paint him black.
He's already ashy, so he don't know.
He's on no
Big.
olive oil.
Okay, it's going left.
Butter.
Before this thing goes left,
go left.
Let's
Well, the thing was, the next topic, I was actually going to hand the reins over to K Mega. I hope I said Mega Man again. I did it again. But I hope you still have some wind in them lungs, man. But you were talking about GameStop and something that they're doing to kind of like combat like services like Game Pass and whatnot. Can you explain what's going on and possibly those questions?
Yeah, GameStop was they had something in secret, I guess. It wasn't a secret, but they had a trial where they were doing rentals. If you had their GameStop Pass or whatever that thing, the card, I got it. I got it. I forgot where you can get the subscription and you get the magazines or whatever. Then you could you can rent games, but not the new games, but used games from them, and for a fee. I never tried it out, but then when the article came back up here just recently, they're actually finna do it, and I think it's probably going to start in the beginning of the year sometime, maybe. And what they're going to do is they're going to compete with Xbox Games Pass and basically like EA Access. What they want to do is that they're going to, it's $10 a month or it's $60 for 6 months, and they will give you access to a lot of their used titles, and then after that 6 months, they will let you have the last game that you had rented from them.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
that little cherry on top at the end was like,
yeah. They're trying to give the incentives, but the problem is that they're not too trustworthy with some of their used titles. I mean, when I was getting a lot of hard copies, and I was getting the used titles, they would be scratch jacked. And then that's another thing that they probably will implement on there. Is like, hey, they always tell you for another $2, $3, $4 that you could get their insurance or whatever. So that's a little bit more income for them as well. And I could see a lot of people eating this up, because if you have access to a list of used games, a lot of people will pay the $60 instead of just buying new games instead. But they're trying. GameStop, you got to give it to them. They're trying to keep themselves aflout, because they know that because they know that the time is coming. So yeah, I definitely want to hear what the chat had. Well, not the chat. Well, the chat too, and the group. What do y'all think about this? You know what I'm saying? I'll throw it back to you, Xbox.
Damn. When you first talked about it, you're like, $60 for 6 months. I'm like, that's half a year, and it depends on like having to go to the store and grab the games, and then if you want to change them up, I've become accustomed to digital purchases, subscription-based services, and stuff like that. But I will hand it to GameStop for trying to do something here to stay relevant, above kind of like just changing what they sell. Because another thing I've noticed with GameStop is they're selling a lot more novelty items. They are relying hard on pop figures and a lot of novelty items like that in their stores. And at one point in time, they were selling, they probably still do, but they don't have it up front anymore, but they were selling like cell phones and tablets and stuff like that as well. So they're trying to find a way to stay relevant, knowing that the gaming industry, is pushing towards digital. Year after year, the digital numbers for purchases are getting higher and higher, and it's almost an inevitability, basically. And you have like these services, where you're renting games and stuff like that, which Sony offers, Microsoft offers. I'm not sure if Nintendo does yet, but then again, Nintendo does whatever the hell they want anyway, and they just kind of just sell games. I don't know if it's gonna work, but that little cherry at the end where you get to keep the last game, I know that will definitely entice some people to at least try it out for a little while. At the end of the day, I think they're delaying the inevitable. Inevitably they are gonna go under. They're relying on an industry that is going more digital than anything else, and they can temporarily stop the bleeding, but that wound is too deep, and they're never gonna recover from this. Once everything goes digital, they're pretty much done, man. And they're just trying to last a little while longer, in my opinion.
Well, who they're going to hurt the most, and that's going to be like GameFly, those type of services.
Does GameFly still exist?
Yeah. I don't know, but I mean, they might not. You know what I'm saying? No, they might be like, hey, man, the survival of the fittest, and it's your time to go. So, GameFly, I have never used GameFly. I know some friends that has used it, and they love it. But you know what GameStop is trying to do, that's really enticing. You know, I can't even lie. I can't even front. You know, that's really enticing. And for, like I said, for when you walk in there, there's a lot of people that's not, you know, like we are. And if they see that, they're going to jump on that. So,
like I said, they might jump on it for a little while, but I feel like the services that are given for platforms, like you have the Game Pass, and even I guess PlayStation Now on the PS4 for some people, they like that service or whatnot. I like what Game Pass has to offer, and the more, like 99% of my games library is digital anyway. And I just feel like they're kind of delaying the inevitable with this, that eventually this industry is going digital. And I know there's a lot of people out there that's like, well, I only buy physical and this and that. But guess what? Your numbers are getting lower and lower, year by year. Even to the point where, look at the limited editions they're selling now for like, what was it, Battlefield 1 and stuff. They'll give you steel books. They'll give you statues and stuff like that, but game not included. You know why?
Yeah.
Because people are buying it digitally. That's why.
Let me give you numbers that were shared to me. Basically, after the first of this year, right? Mm-hmm. And this particular publisher, so it doesn't really reflect all publishers, but you can just say approximately that's where we're at. Xbox is about 60% digital. At that time for that particular publisher, and PlayStation was about 40.
Right.
And that's growing for them. So to put that in perspective, I think at the beginning of this generation, it was like 15. So it's growing really, really fast. So it's inevitable. I mean, I think honestly, the next 2 years we'll be at 80 to 70% digital for most consumers.
Damn, really?
And one thing that, like Noof is in here, and a lot of people I've heard like Review Tech and other people, they fear the all digital situation because they feel that it's going to, like Noof just said, I think eventually all we will have is a service like Game Pass.
That's what we will have.
And it could go that way, but I think if the gamers revolt enough, then it won't, because I know that Game Pass is going to be just like the Netflix of gaming. Because if you remember, I used to get games off of Netflix. That shit's kitens. It's gone. Finito. It's out there, Jack. So they don't do that. So it's up to the gaming community to try to hold back on having that service be what it is. Now, of course, that could be 10 years from now. That could be 5 years from now. That could be 20 years from now. I have no idea how.
Honestly, all that stuff is going to coincide with one another. You look at the movie industry in general, like, people always talking about the dying of the movie theaters and stuff like that. Right. They're still around. There's still movie theater releases. It still goes physical still being printed on DVDs, right? For, right now, like with new movies. And so they hit like the red boxes after that, or people actually, buy them or own them. And eventually it goes to streaming services, right? And so it kind of trickles down. That's how a lot of these companies kind of recuperate their cost and keep their game relevant, or these movies relevant, right? And it's the same thing with games. I think these services are not meant to replace; they're meant to supplement.
Right.
No, they're meant to suffocate the previous format. Yeah.
Well, it cut costs tremendously. Instead of paying for having physical, it digital is a hell of a lot cheaper for the companies.
It's not really. I mean,
really?
Yeah, it's there's give and takes there.
Okay.
In regards to that, I mean, yeah, I mean, in some ways, you're not printing a disc, but a disc doesn't cost a lot. The actual case doesn't cost a lot. The owner's manual, that doesn't cost anything. And we were talking like 5 cents for that stuff. It probably costs more to ship that thing than it does to actually produce it and print it. So it really isn't that much. And so you have to rent space on servers. That costs money too. So it's give and take on all that sort of stuff. But where they really make money when they go digital is that copy's not being sold again and recycled. And that's where they really save the money.
So someone wants to buy it, they have to actually buy
exactly.
it.
Yeah. So that's where it becomes really profitable in that sense.
Let me channel my inner Michael Pachter here for a minute. So, like,
Michael Pachter.
Yeah, because he's always wrong. So I'll probably be wrong on this one too. So I'm just gonna say this. Like, I'm putting the business hat on for a second. So this is GameStop's problem right here. They're trying to sell you old used shit and recycle that shit. You can get that from Redbox already. You know, you can go online and order their shit online too. So what I would do if I was them, like, close some of these brick and mortar stores. I've got like 4 of them in a fucking 5-mile radius. You don't need all that shit, right? Go the Steam route. Come up with your own Steam version of GameStop where you can rent games on there digitally or buy them digitally and sell them that way. Like, they need like a Game Pass service, like their own. Like, go out to Microsoft, go out to all these other publishers.
They have to have some type of agreement with the platform.
Yeah, and come up with an agreement where they can host their games on there for rent or something. But I doubt it's ever going to happen.
So you're saying instead of fighting it, you're saying go along with the flow of everything.
Yeah, because the digital, like everyone just said in here, like everyone's had pretty much said this, like digital is the future. Not these brick and mortar. They're wasting money on these brick and mortar. So have fewer of those and try and do something online where you can actually buy games or rent games online versus trying to go to a store. You got, like I said, I have 4 stores literally within a 5-mile radius of me.
Yep.
I can go any direction and hit GameStop and close 2 of those.
Now, oh, my bad, dude. But I was just gonna ask you real quick. Well, what you're saying, like with them,
you still need work with your K Mega interruption, but that was okay. I'll give it about a 6.
Yeah, I'm kind of like in the middle. Dark on the low end, you on the high end, or Don on the low end, you on the high. I'm kind of in the middle. But no, I was just saying, Pred. Now, with that being said, you're talking about like possibly starting a service, getting an agreement with like the consoles and stuff like that. Now, what Mega said, all right, 6 months, $60, and you keep the last game. Now, if they ever decide to offer this as a digital service that you can just inherently do on your PS4 or your Xbox One, does that sound more enticing to you than what you're hearing right now?
I would just buy the game at that point. If I'm spending that much money for that long, just buy the game. Like, where's the trade-off? Okay, look at it this way. If you're renting a game, how much are you renting a game for per day?
If it's $10 a month and it's $60 for 6 months,
that's math.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, that shit right
I'll say about what, like $1.50, something, $2 maybe.
Well, actually, let me back up. So you're spending $10 a month, and you get the game when for free, or you get become.
They said after the 6th month.
Whatever your last game that you rented.
Yeah, whatever the last game that you had under that 6th month. It will
$60.
Yeah.
Right? On a used game.
Right.
So you might just buy the game. You might have bought it at launch.
Yeah, but
I think the value of games, because most likely the value of games after 6 months is gone down.
It's gonna be like $40. It's $40 after a month. So again, you're losing money there. Just buy the game. Just buy it when it launches.
I can see, Pred, I can see where you're coming from, but I think what they're saying is, with this type of service, first like 5 months and 3 weeks, like you can enjoy whatever games you want to enjoy by renting them through this service, and then on that final week, you just grab the game that you want. You see what I'm saying?
Grab the last game you played. I see where you're coming from, but like again, that's $10 a month. It's not. It's still $60 the way you look at it, no matter how you look at it. Mm-hmm. The only way this works for you.
Well, it's more than that though, too, because just think about the subscription fee and for any say for whatever pre-order, well, not pre-order, but for the games that you get and you pay for like that fee for keeping the game, for insurance for the game that, if it's scratched, or whatever. Well, I don't, they're going to recoup that money some kind of way. Like, hey, I know you're renting the game, but hey, if this game comes back and it's scratched and you said, and we showed it that it wasn't scratched, they're going to fire your ass up. They are. So
here's the really fucked up part of it. Like, okay, Mega, you buy a game, right? You buy it digital or physically. You turn it back in, you get your little $30 off of it. They even give you that much for it. They're going to make their money off that sale, that rent of that game somehow, some way. They bought it from you for $12, $15. They're renting it out for $10 a month. I go in there and buy that same game and I keep it and I want it. Like, I'm going to keep this thing for 6 months, whatever. I'm going to make it mine. I just bought a used game. for $60. That's my whole issue with this. It'd be different if it was like, you know, like a $2 fee or something like that per month. And I'm like, but you're talking, it's $60 for me to actually own the last game I played. It's not feasible for a consumer. Like it's not really consumer friendly when you think about the long run of it. You're spending $60 on a used game that you can buy for $40 in a month. Because by the time somebody sells it, it's already played out anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to sell back Destiny 2 right now, you know, and get, you know, I know you're not getting Destiny, but you're not going to go back and sell back, I don't know, Assassin's Creed. You just got it yesterday and sell it back within, you know, 30 days. You might, but even then it's going to be $50 at GameStop and $40 online somewhere, because it's a little older game. They usually drop the price of these games somewhere. So you're going to go buy that game and rent it for 6 months and get $60 on a game. You can get out there and get 40, and on top of that, it's used, which may be scratched up, which may be fucked up or whatever. But like, it's just not a consumer friendly deal. And I think, like you were saying, Mega, I think you were saying this is like, or maybe it was Xbot. You were saying like this is like their last ditch effort. Like, they've been having financial problems for a long time now. You know, just slowly just trickling, trying to, like you said, just keep above water. Like, this is their last effort right here. What's going to end up happening? You're going to see them start closing stores on their own, because they can't keep them afloat. That's going to happen, I guarantee you, probably like in February. You know, after this whole digital push starts going through, the Xbox One X gets released, you know, everything starts picking up steam. I give GameStop, best case scenario, about a year.
Oh, damn, a year?
I give them about a year.
No, man, no. I'd say
a little bit longer than that, man.
I give them. I'm
talking about before they start closing stores.
Oh, well, they already started that anyway.
So you're saying they're going to go full on Blockbuster in a year? Is what you're saying?
I can see it happening. I can see that, unless they're making a lot of money off those little toys and shit they're selling in the stores. Well, but as far as video games, like that's their probably like, I don't know. I just see it going downhill for them. Well, again, my Michael Pachter hat is on, so.
Well, look at the service as this, right? So, you know, at every given store, right, you have a bunch of games that sit on the shelf and do nothing. They do nothing.
They throw them in the trash.
You're not selling. They put them in the trash. They're sitting on, basically sitting just in the middle of the floor doing nothing, right? So you should be making money off of those things. And so what they're doing, since they already sell the game and the games come back to them anyways, they're just selling you a subscription service. And what they're banking on is, A, they don't have as many games sitting there doing nothing. They're actually collecting money on them. B, you know, you got people that just forget about it and they just don't take advantage of the trade-in as much as as they could, right? You got people that kind of treat it like an overdue library book and just sit on it forever, right? But to them, they don't care. They're still collecting money, right? And there's some people that just let it lapse, like their gym membership, right? That's what they're looking at. So it's an additional revenue stream for them. In regards to that, is it long term going to keep them afloat? Nope. It makes their store fronts somewhat relative for a certain period of time, but the reality is that whole business is not based on diversifying. It's just based on games, and that's what made them successful in the first place, right? Because they were focused on games. Now that thing is evolved, I don't see a bright future for them. I don't see an out for them.
Exactly. This is a last ditch effort. This is a last ditch effort, man.
Yeah, it's not. You know, there is no out. You know, for these guys, eventually, they're gonna have to rent out those spaces for something else, right? I mean, they start changing locations. I mean, I don't know how many times I've gone into my local GameStop, and it really hasn't been upkept well as a store, and I've kind of joked around about it in the past. But the other issue is I notice with a lot of GameStops, they almost need like a store revision, right? They need to kind of clean up house and kind of give a little bit of a rebranding to GameStops in general, just in the physical store locations. I mean, you can see that with like Wendy's or McDonald's, right? Like, next thing you know, they have a new design for their buildings and they fix all of them up and all that sort of stuff, and keeps their business relevant. These things don't look relevant when you walk in. Like, I think the last time I walked into GameStop, I walked in and I just walked straight back out. I'm like, no.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. Like, I went in there to get NBA 2K18, and it was like, again, it's just it's not the same. And really, if you think about it, man, I mean, the writing was on the wall back in 2013 when Xbox was going to do the game share with 10 people. GameStop would have been done already. But because, there was that crazy protest about the game sharing situation because they implemented it with the DRM and all that, they've lasted this long, and they're doing everything that they possibly can. It's just that if Xbox decides to go this other method by, actually where we can start trading our trading our digital games for currency, or doing that, it's over. Like I said, finito. It's done, Jack. And then what Xbox will be doing will be competing against PC, because if there's one thing that the PC does right is that those games are cheap. I was thinking about getting Wolfenstein on a PC because it was only like $42. You know what I'm saying? So, but I got it for the X instead. But I'm sorry, for the Xbox instead, because I want to see what it's going to look like on the X. But once they start getting into that space to where they start competing with PC prices, it's done. They're done. And it's unfortunate for a lot of people that still likes to go buy games physical, but you're just gonna probably have to go to Amazon or something like that to get.
So on the 7th, I'm going to go into GameStop and trade in 2 S's, right? Just because I got 2 X's come to my house. And, I'm going to roll those into some games, right? And I know the very first thing they're going to ask me is like, hey, we got that physically. I'm like, nah, can I have a digital code, please? And then I don't have to go back in there again. Yeah. That's just the way it is.
Right.
I'll take a wild guess on what Assassin's Creed Origins is right now on resale for. Don't look, anybody in chat. Just take a wild guess.
$54.99
for resale. No, for trade-in value. Sorry.
Oh, trade-in? $24.
24 or 30 or $30.
If you have the rewards or whatever, I think it's like 30 if you get like
25 regular. This is a regular version of Assassin's Creed. It is $25 trading value. However, if you want cash, it's only $20 and 24 max if you're an Elite Pro for cash, and 30 trading value.
You guys forget I used to work at GameStop, man. I could tell you.
I should have thought that before I even asked that question. But I did say chat too. But you guys are right on the mark though. So like, that's crazy, man. And the game just came out Friday, and they're giving you half the price of it already.
And you get a hell of a lot better deal at Best Buy for what they give you, because I mean you could trade that in a game and get like maybe $40-$45.
Well, Mega, I'm glad
want to take their games there, man.
Mega, I'm glad you brought up Best Buy, because see, and here's the thing: when people talk about physical games and stuff like that, if you still want them, there's still going to be some type of production in the future. I think that's what Don was kind of alluding to before. But stores like Best Buy, who don't just hang their hat solely on games, but they have, their tech. They have the computers, they have the TVs, they have all the tech devices and stuff, and they have games. Those are the companies that will survive and still sell physical discs. All right? But companies that are reliant on the majority of gamers in the community to buy physical, and then to also buy pre-owned, because that's where they get all their money, those companies are going away, guys. I know, shout out to the Fonz in the chat. He's like 3 to 5 years and GameStop will be gone. And you know what? I would lean closer to the 3 and less to the 5.
Well, I feel like, fair guess. I mean, that's just a fair guess, because just who knows what hat tricks they'll pull out between now and then, right? To keep them just afloat, right? But I mean, I think that's spot on. I mean, because if you look at the growth of where digital was at the beginning of this generation to where we're at now, right? It's substantially grown. Like on Xbox, the majority, and I was talking about this one publisher, so I can't speak for all publishers, but this one publisher basically said the majority of their sales were digital. They've crossed over that line. And they're more profitable because they're digital, because people are not reselling this stuff.
Exactly.
And let's be honest, when you sell a game, like, sometimes you maybe go through a bunch of games that you want to get rid of. But you push the clock forward, right? And what happens? We all get nostalgic about these games, right? And we want to pop it back in. I'm like, oh crap, I traded that in. And I bet you a lot of people that used to trade in their games at GameStop, and this is just me projecting what how I felt. Like there's times when I've traded in games at GameStop, and the reality is, I regretted each one of those trades. I wish I still had those hard copies,
right,
myself. So, if you have those sort of experiences, that makes you less inclined to even come in the store in the first place, right? So, I mean, they're being I don't want to say being attacked, but they're burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, man. I mean, a lot of people, they, I know that a lot of people wants physical, and like I said, you got to go to Amazon, maybe go to Best Buy. But the only thing out of this that will sadden me about GameStop closing down eventually is the midnight launch. That's the only thing that I'll be sad about, because if there was anything, it showed the camaraderie of just seeing older people, young people, just women, I'm saying, everybody, and you all, and you see your people out there in the cold or in the heat or whatever, and this shows the love of gaming. You long lines of seeing, from the Call of Duties, from the Halos to, Grand Theft Autos, all of that, console launches. I'm going to miss that. I am going to miss that. But the time has come, man. I mean, digital is where it's at. It's more convenient.
Yeah,
I'm gonna fuck with y'all's head real quick right now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna fuck with y'all's head with this one right here. Check this out. So, I was looking at their stock. Right, their GameStop's 5-year stock peaked in the last 5 years at $55.53. Right, that was November 15th, 2013. What else happened that month?
Oh wow! What else happened that month? Oh wow! Yeah.
Right. What's their stock at now? And it's been slowly declining. It is at $19.34.
No way. That low? Whoa!
It's at the lowest right now that it's been in maybe 5 years.
See, that's just the stock, but we're talking about how much profit are they bringing in, right?
True.
Is it on the decline? Because that's the real, that's what keeps the lights on, right? Mm-hmm. And the reality is, they're basically burning the candle at both ends. I mean, there's no way around it. You go into a GameStop, there's less and less people. I see the parking lot less and less full. People are buying games multiple different ways outside of that particular store. They're trying to get people in the door with this. They're trying to get product not sitting on a shelf. I mean, hell, some people get more games from GameStop going through their dumpster than actually going in their store.
You watch
right?
those videos too, man?
Yeah, I was about the Google one too, and bring that up too.
Yeah, I've seen that stuff. I mean, I don't wish them a demise or anything like that, but it's a dated business model, and there's certain dated things that just don't work. I mean, hell, people don't buy straight razors, right? I mean, for the most part, right? Mm-hmm. They moved on. So it's one of those things, like there'll always be a place, I think, for physical games for collectors and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's never going to be the majority in the long run. And there are other stores that can do exactly what they're doing, and maybe even better. So
yeah, and hopefully, because like Mega said, when it comes to the midnight launches, those are something special, man. Especially the hardware launches. I was blessed to be a part of the launch of the PS4, the launch of the Xbox One. I was front and center for the midnight launch of the Xbox One. My store manager is like, man, you know more about this than all of us put together, so you're basically running this stuff. And it was a lot of fun to see everybody at the store excited for a platform that you love, man, and excited for gaming, period. So maybe at some point in time, because I don't see a good ending for GameStop, but maybe companies like Best Buy can kind of adopt that whole midnight launch thing, and maybe it can continue on somewhere else, because it is something that I feel is really cool with the gaming community, and I know I've had a blast with them in the past. So, but with that being said, guys, we are at the 2-hour mark, and I think we had a great show tonight. Huge shout out to everybody in the chat. Yo, huge shout out to Predator for making it, man. You surprised me, dude, and it was good to hear you come on and speak your opinions and such. But we got to get our plugs in. We got to get out of here. The gamers got a game, and it is Saturday night. So let's start with the longest list, Mr. K Mega. Why don't you let everybody know where they can get a hold of you, what you're up to, shows you're going to be on. Man, you know the deal.
Yeah, man, I'm over here. We had a little discussion about Forza, and
You're back at it?
It's my obituary, man. It's my hero and my crack, man. I'm on it now. I've been playing it while we've been talking, but you can catch me on the GRG podcast every Friday night after Crossfire, man. Last night was great. It was serious when we started talking about one situation, and then it just went left. But you know what? Luca got in my ass, and if you want to hear K Mega just shut up and not really say anything, that's where you need to check it out. Because Luca, about the hour and the 11th minute, she got in my ass, and it was just really funny. It was so fun, man. I had such a good time. So yeah, check us out there. The granddaddy of them all, BGST. We'll definitely be doing that Sundays or Mondays, whenever we do them. But it is what it is. And then a big shout out to Intro Media Gaming. I heard my boy 100 got his ass whooped by Alex. I hope that's not true, because then me and 100's got to have a long discussion. And you know what I'm saying? And then the multiplayer, the fanboy podcast, it's so fun just because it's stupid. And then after we done, a lot of people are hating one another, cussing each other out, and then we're back, and when the show's over, we're laughing and talking. And I don't know why people think that me and Porter Rock has an issue. You know what I'm saying? We boys, much love on that. But man, yeah, and just man, you want to catch me on my channel. My YouTube channel is K Mega 405. Man, check me out. Hit that sub button. Hit that like. Hit the comments. I like seeing what everybody has to say. And then on Twitter at K Mega 4. And thank you guys, man. It was another great night.
Yeah, definitely. Let's move on down the list. Predator. I know you came in late, but you came in late, and I think you stole the show, man. Why don't you let people know what you're up to when it comes to your Sunday show? How to get a hold of you, your YouTube channel. Man, you know the deal.
Let me see. Sundays, this Sunday, notwithstanding, I have to work this Sunday, so no podcast this Sunday, but I do the after party Sundays at around 9 a.m. Central Time. Thursdays, I'm on the Shop Podcast, 6 p.m. I do guest appearances on pretty much everything that I can, so I might be on Quest one week, I might be on Crossfire one week, I might be on all of them one week, like I was this week. Predator _H2OS on Steam, on Xbox, on PlayStation, Switch. Don't ask. I don't remember it. But other than that, man, also Predator _ on H2OS on Twitter as well. So make sure you guys follow me there. And thanks for listening in. I'm sorry I showed up late, guys, but life shit, so see y'all next week, though.
Yeah, well, like I said, man, you came in and you damn near stole the show, man. So it was awesome, dude. Thanks. Let's go next on the list, man. Making his grand re-entrance with the next podcast. The saver of the world, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Yes, it is Dark Goldblum, man.
About to be 4 times. Just so you know. No, it was a fun show tonight, man. I always love being on the next podcast. But you guys can find me on Twitter at Dark Optimus. You can also find me on Xbox Live, the same name. You guys can also check me out every Thursday night on the Quest Podcast at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So yeah, come on by and hang out with us. It's always a fun show. So
yeah, I am a big M. Baines fanboy. So yeah,
I know, man.
Definitely check out that show.
He tries to rub that in my face a lot of times. I'm always like, man, damn, Baines, you're right.
Well, kind of like lotion with your ass face.
The white delegation has still not agreed to our term. So,
well, that's because they don't want me either, dude.
So I think I recanted that a while back. I think we're gonna keep Dark Goldblum on our team.
Man, come on now. This is dropped down the black delegation by least. Look, home value, if wherever he's at, is dropped like 50%. We got to let him go. Anyway, all right, man.
Wow, man.
Messed up.
I have a feeling this is gonna be a continuing thing for a while here. Yeah.
You know, I get it. Once it sticks, it's gonna stay.
It's gonna stay.
I'm gonna keep offering it.
Yo, next on the list, that chinchilla wearing fool, rocking the pink chinchilla today. Yes, he was the diva tonight on the next podcast. Don, why don't you let people know where they can get a hold of you and what you've been up to, man?
Before I do that, I have to do my disclaimer. I mean, the view and opinions of K Mega are not mine. The things that he's saying, I have nothing to do with. So,
Wow.
I'm not even touching that.
The show has come to disclaimers now, man.
Disclaimers. Golly, man. Is it that
You might have to write up a contract, bot.
But the best way to follow me is on Twitter. It's down below. The link's there. Just follow me there. And if you want to follow me on Xbox Live, it's the same. It's the Don, but it's space KTR. And I will be dropping a video sometime in the future. So if you want to look at my channel, it's on my Twitter handle, and you never know when I'll drop something. So.
And guys, on that note, like I said, I feel we had a great show. Huge shout out to the over 100 people watching tonight. Thank you guys for your support. It's the chat. It's the people that support us, that support this show, that support us on Twitter and stuff. You guys inspire us to come out every Saturday night and try to give you the most entertaining and the most knowledgeable gaming podcast that we can possibly give. And again, thank you guys for all your support. But it is Saturday night, and the gamers got a game. So, guys, I'm going to say it like I say every Saturday. We will check you out next Saturday on the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
See y'all next week.
Good night, everyone.
Next week.
We'll see you next week. Thank you.